Hey guys, it's John from Eastern Hot Rodder, and Liberty is changing the Evap canister in her 96 Corvette. So to get to it, it's up underneath the quarter, so she's pulling the inner fender well out right now. She's already pulled the wheel off, and I think we might have to pull the bumper, so she pulled the gas door off so we can get in there. We'll have to pull the taillights out if the bumper has to go. But the Evap canister is up in there. There's a little plastic panel there, this plastic panel we had to take out. So to get to it easier, she's got to pull the inner fender well out. You got to check the hoses, make sure they're good. But the bumper will come off fairly easy if need be. And we have a bit of an ulterior motive, right, Liberty?
Right.
If we pull the bumper off, we might be able to get the tank sticker out of it. I can see it on the gas tank, but
T15.
T15s. What about there were bolts on the inner fender? Were they 10 millimeter?
Yeah, they were.
Okay. Look at that. Now you got all sorts of room. Let's see what we got. Well, that makes it a little easier, a lot easier. I don't know if we'll have to pull the bumper off. Cool. We'll probably replace those hoses too. So we are taking the bumper off, right, Liv?
Yep.
So taillights are coming out. Well, parking light can stay, but we got to disconnect them. We have some room to get up in there, and it's pretty tight, but this gives us the opportunity to get in there and maybe get that build sheet out so we can find out what options this car actually had. The build sheet is in there on the gas tank. We can see it. So we got this side, the wheels off both sides. There's just a lot to disconnect, huh?
Yep.
The bumper comes off. It's coming off pretty easy. It's just a lot to do, right? There's bolts that come in this way, right?
Yeah, there's it's like this has both sides come down like this, and
So
then there's bolts that go through there.
Okay, and then you just got to take the nut off it?
No, it's just like a screw.
Okay, so you just take the screw out. What is it, 8 millimeter?
7.
7 millimeter, okay. And that's the head of the bolt for it. And you see, she's got slotted rotors. There was what was the name of that? Power stop rotors and pads. And we also put a 1-inch lowering kit in the back. They had a little too much wheel well showing. It's a nice little car. We rebuilt the engine, serviced the transmission, all the fuel system, everything. She's got new wheels and tires. They're reproductions of the Grand Sport or ZR1 style wheel. So she's got 9.5s all around with N55 Nittos. And she's hoping to autocross it and drag race a little bit once we get everything sorted out on it. But she's got this pesky engine code that keeps coming, giving us a code that the Evap canister was falling apart and needs a couple hoses too, so we'll get that taken care of. You getting it? Now you can take those out, and then you can get gaudy, ugly things to put over it.
No.
There it is, guys. The tank sticker. That's the build sheet. It's a little rough shape, but it's still fairly complete. So we're hoping we can get that out of there and clean it up, and then get the list of options on it. Once this bumper's off, we'll see how it holds that tank in to loosen that strap up. So cool. And nothing makes a 90s car look worse than missing a bumper. I mean, this car's a nice car, but it looks like a roach right now. So we'll have to clean all this stuff out when we can. And there's the bracket. So hopefully, yeah, we'll be able to loosen up that bolt right there. And this will come out nice and easy. It's all right there, Liberty.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not even wet too, so all the dirt will come right off. Look at that, you can already see things. Stabilizer bar. Cool. This car came with a performance rear axle, so it's already a little bit of a factory hot rod in that regard, and wasn't any kind of steep gears being an automatic. Standard gear ratio, I think, was a 246, and this one's got a 307, so that's a pretty cool thing. Okay, so here's the build sheet. It's a little worse for wear. None of these codes really told us anything we didn't already know about the car. It's the 307 axle ratio, the power seats, tan top, tan interior, stuff like that. But this has got all the codes on there. The cool things that we got out of this was the build date. It was March 6, 1996, and the time when this paper was printed out was 5/32, and 39 seconds. I'm assuming that's probably in the morning because they probably use military time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's probably what that is. Now, the part that's missing, dun, 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 is what would have been really cool to have. But there were some clues. So this was the charge and ship to for the dealership that ordered this car originally. And you can see it's Dennis something or other, and it disappears there. And then we had 310 SE in Delray B. So we know it was Delray Beach, Florida. So we hopped online, did a little bit of research, and found out that it was, what was the name of Liberty?
Dennis Fronrath.
Okay, Dennis Fonrath Chevrolet in Delray Beach, Florida. They were on 310 Southeast 6th Avenue, and that was quite a few years ago. That company's changed hands a couple different times after Dennis retired, and from what I've read on the computer, he was a great guy. So this was originally sent down there. Now it became Steve Moore Chevrolet, and now it's something like, remember it was the...
Started with a G.
Yeah, something with a G. Is a big dealer down in the Florida area. But I called them. They, of course, didn't have any records going back to who would have bought this or anything like that. But still pretty neat to have this. So we'll probably iron this thing out and get it nice and flat and protect it. But it's kind of cool. It's got the radio. It tells you it's a CD, which obviously we know that already. Tan interior, tan top is right there. Tells you your wiring harness and all the codes for that. And here it was if it was getting exported, so there would have been information in here. But of course, it stayed stateside, so that didn't change at all. If it was Canadian, this box would have been checked there. I thought we'd maybe see something there that tells you what kind of top, or if it had a hard top originally or not. I have a feeling that her car at least had one on there before. But it's pretty cool that we know his birthday and who originally got it. So there's the build sheet on the car. You can see where the gas tank strap held it down. So it'll take a little bit to kind of iron this thing out, but we'll save it and keep with the records of the car. Okay, so we replaced those hoses and put that canister back in there. You can see it right there. Put all the hoses on it. There were something about 90s rubber line. They just kind of turned to this black chalkiness that doesn't come off anything. So we're just sticking the bumper back on now. We did get the build sheet, so that's cool. We gotta get all this stuff lined up. Everybody's working on sticking the first couple bolts in to hold this on. There's pins that hold this bumper on as guide pins, so you can't really misalign it. They go on pretty modular like any newer car. And then there's stuff in the wheel. You can see this is not quite aligned here yet. The car's filthy dirty. But once we get the back bumper, everything started, we'll pull that up and get everything aligned the best we can before we put the wheel well back in. Unfortunately, it's freezing cold today. What's it, 20 something outside, Liv?
Yeah, 24.
24. And let's see, the sun baking on the barn. So our tin barn is about 47 up in the air, right against that wall. So we're probably low 40s, high 30s down here by the ground. Hoping these lights help heat things up a little bit. They feel good when you stand by it. Going back together. Why don't you show them where those bolts are and which ones they are?
So there's 3 10mm bolts in the back of this inner fender well. And there's 5 T15s on that side and 3 T15s and a T30 on that side.
Okay. That holds the fender well in?
Yeah.
That's it, right? No special clips or anything?
Nope.
Easy. On the bottom of this side to protect the canister, there's this plastic thing that goes in here. There's a metal rod that this plastic clips onto, and then it's a push pin here and a push pin there. That's all it holds that in. So under the hood, this evap hose comes up, feeds into this solenoid here and this one here, and they'll start sucking that carbon out of the canister. So we took those. We have a spare engine that we rolled those pieces off of, swapped them out for the clean ones. A little bit of a pain in the butt because, of course, there's not a lot of room to work under here. But there's that. So there you have it. Car's all back together. Liberty washed it up. Looks great. It's the cleanest since we've had it. It's the cleanest it's been because it's got all the dirt that was between the bumper and the body is cleaned out, so it's real nice and clean around the taillights now. And now it's just sitting in hibernation, waiting for the weather to break. And we had a little snow the other day, so the roads are kind of salty still. And there's no way she's going to be taking it out on that kind of road stuff. So it's going to sit here until a little better weather.